doing in here this whole time? What kind of business is this?
We're a paper company. The best paper company in the whole wide world.
Alright, so I can knock it off.
No. Well, snot-nosed punk.
What is up, YouTube family? Today we are going to be talking about the top 3 best-selling apps. This is my personal belief. I just wanted to go over this because I feel like a lot of people don't know about all 3 of these apps. If you go on the App Store, you can find them. I will put the links down below. First, I'm going to start off with the apps themselves, and then I'm going to talk about tips on how to talk with people, how to communicate, and how to sell your things faster, how to make more money off of them, and etc. So the first app that I'm going to talk about is OfferUp. I said that one first. That one's number 1 for me because I think personally there's more traffic in that app than all 3 of them. If you're looking for shoes, that's the best app for sure. Number 2 is 5 Miles. The reason why I put this at number 2 is because there's a decent amount of people going through it. I usually get requests on them or messages through that app all the time. But another reason why that's number 2 is because there's more features out of that one than there is on the third app that I'm going to talk about. When I say features, I mean like featuring it to where other people can see it. All 3 apps can do that now, by the way. You can spend like $3.99, $7.99. But yeah, 5 Miles is pretty good. I just like how smooth it is to post things on there, how smooth it is to message people. I get notifications of when people message me. Oh, that's another thing. On OfferUp, I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but I don't get notifications when I get messages. Like, I actually have to go into the app and refresh my messages like tab to see if I even got any messages. So I have no idea if I got any messages unless I go into the app. And number 3 is Letgo. I feel like a lot of people know about what this one is. I just think that since it was made, a lot less people have been using it because they found out about OfferUp and 5 Miles. But yeah, Letgo is number 3 for me. The reason why is I don't really see that much like product on there. I feel like a lot of people don't post that much on Letgo. Like if you're looking for cars, if you're looking for shoes, there's really not that much on Letgo, especially specific things, specific cars and specific shoes. But those are the top 2 things I think personally that everyone looks for, or possibly music equipment or furniture. I'm sure that's another one. The good thing about Letgo is that is another one of those apps where you can see notifications when you do get messages. So if any of the creators of any of those 3 apps see this, you guys should totally sponsor me in the future. I would totally do a video for you guys. Those are the top 3 apps. OfferUp is number 1, 5 Miles number 2, and then Letgo is number 3. Those are my, I use those like on a daily basis. I go through each one just to see what, how much more they have of a certain thing that I'm looking for. The next thing we're going to go into is like tips and tricks on how to sell things, how to post things, and how to communicate with the people on there. So I'm not going to talk about any one specific app for communicating with people or tips in general, only because this is pretty much the same for all 3. But first of all, if you're a seller or a buyer, either one, well, let's talk about sellers first. If you are a seller and someone messages you and says, is this still available? That's usually the first thing you see. Or they throw a number out. First off, I personally think if someone offers 50% of what you're asking or anything lower than that, then I wouldn't pay any attention to them because they're not serious. That's like one of those, if you know, only message if you're serious inquiries. A lot of people post that on their descriptions about their items. But yeah, if you're gonna offer like 50% of what I'm asking, like if I have like $200 shoes and you offer like $100 or $80, then that's not serious. Wait, if someone's trying to negotiate with you, I would be completely fair, be completely full attentive, and be very positive and very helpful for them. Because if they see that, chances are they might offer full price and plus more. They might negotiate to where they offer full price and come to you directly. It all depends on how your mood is. But if you're really polite and helpful, then it'll most likely go in your favor. Another thing that I don't like to pay attention to is scammers. When I say scammers, these can be people that do offer full price and then another $50 if you ship it today. Or if you're a buyer, and this has happened to me in the past, and someone's offering like really expensive shoes or like an iPhone, but for like a fraction of the actual retail price, then that should tell you right away that it's fishy. If they might ask you for a PayPal account. Most of the things, and I feel like this is kind of hypocritical, but if I'm buying something, I try not to do online transactions like Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. I try to meet in person only because I don't like doing that like that. But I've tried to sell before and people don't do it. So I think my personal opinion is just stay out of it completely and just meet up with them in person. That's the best thing you can do. Even though you don't know who they are and you still don't really trust them, it's kind of hard to sell things if you don't put your faith in like that deal. I've bought and sold some major things, like my motorcycle that I actually had, 2011 1200 Harley Davidson Nightster. I bought for $1,000, and it's actually worth like $4,000 or $5,000. You could probably sell it for that much. But yeah, you can get lucky on those apps. You just got to be really smart about it. Another tip is liking or favoriting a certain item. The reason why I say liking or favoriting an item is typically if someone sees that, like if I'm a seller and I see someone like my product, then I usually lower the price, right? So usually when I like a product, I wait about a week and they'll lower the price. Then I'll come back, send them a lower offer, and I'll say, that's all I can do, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, I can do that. But yeah, that's another good tip, is just favoriting their item and letting them know that you're interested. Another great tip that I typically like to do is if I search up an item, for example, if I look up Jordans, if I look up like retro ones, then I scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page to where you can't scroll anymore on all of that search bar. And I'd start with the lowest one. I'd pick one that I like, and usually those are the older posts. And the reason why I'm saying go all the way down is because if they've been posted longer, the owners are more than likely to go easier on the price, meaning like they won't be too hard about it because they've had it for so long, they just want to get rid of it. You know what I mean? So, or they might not even have any more, and that's one of those things that you gotta look out for. But yeah, the older posts, they'll typically be easier on the prices, but make sure you're also getting a good product, like they're not worn out or they're not really badly used. Not throwing out an offer on the first go around. Start out asking them a lot of questions. Like I said, liking the object or showing them some way that you're interested usually entices them to go easier on the price. That way they just get rid of it. Anyway, so I usually start off asking so many questions, especially if it's a car. That's one of those things that's like, even if you meet up in person, I usually like to say, hey, can we meet up in person? And then I go there, I ask all these questions. They're way easier on price. If you throw out a number, it's so much easier for them to say no on the phone and then saying no in person, because that's money with you. And they're physically there looking at it, and they're like, oh, that's money right there. But yeah, throwing out a number, I wouldn't recommend doing that at the beginning. I would recommend asking questions, learning more about it, like for shoes, asking if they have proof of purchase or proof that it's real and not fake. Things like that, just so you know that you're getting a good deal and they're interested in selling you the product because you're asking so many questions about the product. If you're going to post a product on any of these 3 apps, I would definitely recommend looking into the market for whatever product you're selling before you actually post it, because a lot of the time someone could, or your entire audience could either know more about it than you do, let alone, or you're just completely off with the numbers and everyone's turning their heads and they're like, no, I'm not even going to try to offer because he wants something ridiculously too much amount for that product. I'd say start with the product that you have. I mean, if you have a guitar that's used, like over here, and it's really old, then that might be something to consider. Or if it's a car that's like 2010 and yet it still has like low mileage, then that might be another considerable place or personality to have on the product. Shoes, for example, don't say lightly used or brand new if there's creases, scratches, and it's obviously worn all over the shoe, because then people will say, no, it's been used, I'll give you this. Because then that gives them the power and then they can send you a really low ball offer, and you're left angry, starting into arguments. I've been through that plenty of times. It's very annoying, and it's a complete waste of time. For cars, if you say it's only 150,000 miles and then you say low mileage, that's not true at all. If it's low mileage is like 50,000 to 80,000 miles. Like if it's not in the 6-digit category, then it's low miles. Like if it's $100,000 miles or more, I feel like that's kind of high. Sellers, if you're just selling and strictly selling only, I would say make sure your product looks unique to where, like, if you take a picture of it, you can use a filter, but don't make it look too much, obviously, but make it look good. I mean, if you post this, you want people to message you, you know what I mean? Like, you want people to look at this and say, hey, that looks interesting and it looks pretty good, I want it. And, you know, if you do that, then more people will come to you, more people will ask you for offers, ask you questions. The last thing I have for sellers is make sure you pay attention to the price, like I just said previously. I was going to say, what I usually do is if I have it posted on there for a very long time, I usually post it for a very low number. And if I get more messages about it, then I usually up it just a little bit. That way people are still interested, but they're seeing the price. And typically people will look at that and say, oh, hey, I'm interested. And then I'll work with them on that. And usually I'll say, okay, I can do this price if you come to me. So it's still in your favor. You're still on top of it, but you're also still getting rid of it, and more people are active in what you're looking at. Because I feel like one of the biggest problems is trying to sell something once you have it posted, and then it sits there for about a year or two or way more than that. Guys, that's all I have for you for this video. Top 3 selling apps for 2018. This is in my opinion, by the way. Like, there's plenty of other apps on there. I mean, just check out the App Store. There's like Poshmark for shoes. I know there's an app called Mercari. I tried to use it. I didn't really like it that much. But yeah, you guys can check those out. Those are my personally 3 favorites, just because they're kind of smooth, they're simple, and they're easy to kind of learn how to use. If you have any questions, please comment down below. As always, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel.